So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do one side with baking soda, do my vein, and I'm going to do the other side with no baking soda. Just so you can see the technique that you get out of both of them. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my baking soda and just sprinkle it out on it. Now remember, like I said, big chunks, big holes. A little bit, not so much. So what I like to do, especially when I'm pouring on regular, is I'll only pour my mold up to like a 1/4 inch.
How thick you can go there, as much as you want, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to take this product much more than 2 inches.
Otherwise, you're gonna need a rebar.
Well, it's not meant to do that. It's not meant to go out that thick. Now over here on this side, I don't want to have, I don't care if I have pinholes.
Always think the
Epoxy,
yeah, with epoxy.
everything's epoxy.
When I build my vein, I want to make sure that I'm only about a 1/4 of an inch thick here. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually dividing 2 pieces of concrete. So if I make my vein full 3/4 and then I throw veining material into it, and then I bring this up to it, I got a weak spot that's going through it. So if I build my veining material only about a 1/4 inch thick, then when I come back over top of it, I've tied it all back together.
Alright. Yeah, because it's gonna be like a crack in the middle.
Right.
It's gonna be falling into pieces.
So now I can come in with my veining material. Good catch.
It's a lot of money.
I can throw it into that edge. I really don't care what it does back here. What I care about what's doing on the surface.
Right, it's not gonna affect,
That's what I care about.
it's not gonna affect the concrete like one
Right.
right here,
No, not at all.
cracking.
No.
something
Won't
So
like
affect
what you
it
say
at all.
is gotta throw another layer on the back of the crack.
that. I see you have a little bit. Okay, what kind of material is that?
This is called veining material. So what this does is this has color, it has sand, it has cement in it on its own. So this will actually hold up. So if I just took one of the color packs and I sprinkled that out there just like I use in the base.
Does come in different colors?
Yes, it does. If I just use that, that would just kind of melt into the whole surface. You'd still see color, but it wouldn't stand up as a vein. Yeah. So then what I'll do is I'll just come in with my paintbrush and I'll make sure that I'm tucked into that corner.
Basically, yeah, it's gonna dry it up.
And again, remember that what's down here, what's at the surface is what's going to be seen. So if I keep this real wide right here, you're going to have a real wide vein. If I tighten it up inside there, you're going to have a narrower vein. So it all depends on what you're trying to go for. Now this veining material, this extra, I can clean out, or I can leave it. If I take it, just kind of spread it out a little bit.
Like a little.
Yeah, it'll
Little
just,
crack.
it'll look like that color is kind of bleeding out. But now the problem is because this has sand, cement in it, it's got to steal water from this. So if I take it and I just spray it just a little bit with water, then I know it's going to stand up on its own. Now you see where the water is here? The excess water?
Yeah.
That's going to take that color and bleed it a little bit. I like it. I think it looks good. But if you wanted that vein to be real sharp, you need to clean that out. Or else you're going to see that. You can well, after you put the water in, you need to come back with a rag and clean that up, make that vein nice and sharp. okay? And then you won't see it again. Now, I just want to add a little bit more baking soda right here, just so it kind of it fades out just a little bit. Because since I just moved it, I moved that baking soda that was there.
Take it back. Not gonna dissolve with the water?
The baking soda?
Yeah.
No, it'll stay up. It'll stay in it. Now this also goes through a false set. So all you need to do is literally kick the bucket a few times. It'll come back to being loose again. Now what I want to do is lock that vein in before anything else. I know the vein's going to stay.
You can use this as countertops or
Yeah, this is meant.
small table,
This is made for
Yep.
commercial or residential.
Residential, yeah. Either way. Now we recommend that you don't vibrate this.
No vibration.
You can be vibrated, but if you're going to do vibration, you want to do just very, very little bit. The reason being is you see how viscous this is? Kind of sticky. If you vibrate it, what happens is the sand sits there and settles down to the bottom.
And then
And if you
interrupt
move
the
everything,
sand.
it's
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah. Yep.
Separate.
So
Yeah,
you're
separate.
thinking that the bubbles would come up, right? That's why we vibrate. But what happens is the bubble just sits there and vibrates on it.
Yeah.
So if you pour this thinner, not pour it full thickness, and just do this. Your hand is your best tool to make sure that the bubbles come up.
They all start like that.
Make sure, like, if this is your finished edge, you want to make sure that those bubbles are coming up to that edge.
A lot of work on what?
Now you watch it just for a moment. You're going to see bubbles starting to come up. They're working their way up. You see them
The
popping.
more you touch the water.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like falling the concrete.
Yeah. But my point is I don't care if the bubble's within the concrete. I don't care about that. I don't want them at the surface. Because if I have them at the surface, then I need to come back and slurry it and all that. So if you do it at a thin pour to start with, work it really well.
If you just in case it's a bubbles on the surface, and
Yep.
what do you do with this? You seal with
If they're bubbling,
ground or something like that.
yeah, you're just going to come back and slurry coat it afterwards if there's bubbles at the surface. But if you spend a little bit of time doing this, if you pour your first layer at a 1/4 inch, if you spend a little bit of time patting it all in, the chances of you having bubbles is slim. Now this side I don't need to pat because I want those holes.
You can look. Well, you build this 2 inches the same product.
I wouldn't do a 2-inch pour. This really needs to, in the center. If it's a countertop, 3/4 to 1 inch. So if I was doing a 2-inch pour, what I would do is I would actually form my 2 inches where I want it to be. I'd pour the bottom at say 3/4 or 1 inch. I'd put a foam plug in the center of it, like from here to here,
Oh, just to cover the, okay.
and then pour the outside edges. And
You
make
like
it make it look like it's 2 inches, but in reality, so you're saving a lot of material, you're saving a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's
And then I
not
would
like
pull
concrete,
that,
yeah.
when it sets, I'd pull that plug out.
But doesn't affect the real product.
Doesn't affect
if you want
it.
to make it 2
Yeah.
inches.
No, if you wanted to make it 2 inches, I'd probably
I
add
saw the
some
piece.
gravel to it. I'd add some pea gravel.
big around.
Because like I said, it's not really designed to go out for 2 inches. It's designed like 1.5 inches or lower.
Yeah,
Okay. Now there's another product that's available. It's called a thick pour, and it's got bigger sand in it. It's got a different type of fiber in it that's available if you wanted to pour it at 2 inches. But the other thing is we're also talking. You're more than likely going to do this in your shop. You're taking it to the job. You really want to carry 2 inches versus 1 inch you know,
You know, I work with stone. It's not really.
How many,
With this,
can you work on the trowel or just?
you can afterwards, but you really don't need to. It's pretty much self-leveling.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it's getting thick on me, but I can still get it self-level.
they don't mind paying for mobile, they don't mind paying for materials.
Yeah, you're not forget about this.
Now, even though this is a precast product, it can be used as a pour in place. But because it's so sticky, it's hard to trowel it. So my suggestion is if you're doing a pour in place, go ahead and do this, trowel it the best you can, then come back over and do a microtopping on top of it. That way you know you're gonna be nice and tight, smooth where you wanna be. Some guys have asked me, you know, can I mix this in large batches? Yes, you can. Get a mortar mixer, not a cement mixer, but a mortar mixer with good tight rubber pads on it where they go to the edge of the, and I have personally mixed as many as 10 bags at a time. Done large pours, so it can be done that way. But a cement mixer won't do it, you know, the fins on the side are, because there's not enough room to break that fiber apart.
Correct.
So it won't do it.
Would you use this for, say, outdoor furniture type
Yeah,
tables?
absolutely.
With that, would you, add any layers of fiberglass or anything, or any mesh in between?
You don't really need it, but here's where you need it, it's for transport. You know, if you got a big piece that you're transporting and you want to add a little bit more strength to it, put some fiberglass mesh in it. Doesn't hurt it at all, it does help.
What's the least depth you would start your first?
3/4.
3/4, and
Yeah.
then throw it in?
You could go out, if you're pouring 1.5 inches, I'd probably go out maybe, if I'm pouring 1.5 inches, probably 3/4, I'd put my mesh in it and then go ahead.
Less than 3/4, would it show through on the other
Not if
side
you
of
put
the-
it on the back, it won't show through. Now, there's another product too that you can add even more strength to this. They're called basalt fiber rods. And yeah, they're I think they're a 5mm rod.
Aggregate.
No, it's a rod. It's like
Oh, it's a
a
rod,
reinforcing rod. But the nice thing about the fiberglass rod is they come in 10-foot lengths. They won't rust, they won't expand, they won't contract because they're made out of volcanic rock. So they're spun together like a ugly stick fishing pole. So, and they're easy to ship for Oleg because we can actually put them in a circle to throw them on a pallet and ship here. But that will add also a lot of strength in it too. So if you're pouring a 1-inch piece, you want to add more strength, throw a couple of those rods in there. It adds a lot of strength. A 5mm rod, basalt fiber rod, is equal to a 3/8 inch steel rod in strength. We have a lot of issues in Florida on our bridges and stuff with salt. And that kind of thing.
Yes.
Like you guys up here, but we have salt from salt air and stuff. So the state of Florida now is actually using a lot of these basalt rods for the repairs because it lasts, at that point, it lasts forever. The salt water won't hurt it, the air won't hurt it. So it's a good piece of material to have. You can also add more fiber to this. You've got basalt fiber that you could add to make this stronger. You have other fiber as well.
We have just alkali resistant fibers and the basalt fibers.
So you can add more fiber to this.
So that's the product themselves. You mix
Yeah. The other thing that you could add to this,
What
next
about the
time
color?
you want to do aggregate, you can add 10 pounds of aggregate to this too.
oh really?
Yeah.
Like a terrazzo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you don't have to necessarily get the terrazzo mix to accomplish that.
Right.
If I was doing a terrazzo style, what I would probably do is I would add 10 pounds of it, I'd pour a 1/4 inch, the whole 1/4 inch and up my sides, and then the back of it, you don't need that extra.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's,
fiber.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fiber. Yes, exactly. The terrazzo brings like this.
Yep.
Yeah, terrazzo have this.
Now-
Fiberglass is strong, man. You gotta.
Yeah.
Shit.
These are AR fibers that are in our backer mix and in this one. Now, the one thing that there's a lot of guys out there that are doing fire pits with this mix. Okay, you don't want fire to directly hit this.
There's the outside, man.
Yeah. If the fire directly hits it, it could actually melt these fibers. So
Yeah,
when it
because
melts the
they're-
fiber, then it
they're
loses.
plastic,
Yeah. So what I would do if I was doing like fire pits or something with this, I'd add the basalt fiber to it.
What about what temperature you can put if you have something in the stove you put over there? What's the? It's gonna be stained.
Yeah, this
Then
is fine. The problem is the sealer. The sealer's good for about 350 degrees. So that goes back to you need to tell your customers, listen, this isn't, it's not your sidewalk here. You're talking about this is decorative concrete. You need to keep it right. Just like you with doing marble and stuff.
I
You have
guess it's
customers
good
that-
more for a bit of tables, stops.
You countertops all day long.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people they ask for countertops.
Yeah.
With this, my most concern is about the stain, and when you put something hit in the face, it's gonna
heat.
leave
The
the
heat
mark.
mark.
You know, even the lemon.
Well,
if
that's
you
the
put
good
lemon
on the
and
sealer, no?
even the lemon, if you put lemon over there, you come next day, you're going to see the
Right.
mark
Right.
because
Really?
the acid
Yep.
burns.
With that,
That's my main concern is about the sealer. What kind of type of sealer
Yeah.
we gotta use?
We're
to
gonna go ahead and
prevent
seal
those
this
issues.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use two different sealers for the countertop sealers that pretty much have that addressed. Now, nothing's bulletproof.
Yeah,
no,
that's
the
my
problem.
main concern. Too.
Yeah,
What kind of sealer we gotta use?
we're gonna
Prevent
use
those
a water-based sealer. It's called XS327. It's probably one of the best countertop sealers that are out there today.
Okay.
That's
Is that
gonna be
307?
327. XS
327.
327. Yep. So that's probably one of the best countertop sealers that you can find to help you. We have this. We have a 4-foot. It's a rubber mat that's all wood grain looking that we use as a bending table. If you go on the Shirkers website, you can see it. That's put out at 3/4 of an inch. We'll pour that in the morning. We'll demold in the afternoon. We'll have 4 guys stand on it. The problem is necessarily not is it going to hold up if someone stands on it. It's when they
Well,
do
that's
that.
yeah.
It's when they do that shock.
Yeah, that's
You
boom.
heat it, right?
Yeah, it's that shock that breaks it. I had a couple of guys come in from Australia to do a class with me. They wanted to know what the thing would do. So I said, okay, well, we poured a 4x8 panel. Use this material. In the panel, I put 4 of those basalt rods. And then I put fiberglass on the back, fiberglass mesh. Just troweled it in the back of it. Didn't do anything special, just troweled it in. So we waited till the next day, and we have steel tables at the shop. So I brought it over to the edge of the steel table. It was hanging over the steel table 12 inches. And I told one of the guys that he was probably 250, he's a big guy. And he came up to the side of the table and he leaned on it and just took his weight right off the ground. And when I saw the thing start to bow in the center. So we pulled it out to about 16 inches, did the same thing, it bowed in the center. Brought it out to 2 feet, and he came up on it, and the thing bowed probably 12 inches in the center, but it didn't break. So brought it out just a little bit more, and he leaned up on it, but then when he got up on it, he did it like this, and that's when it cracked. But it
Shot.
didn't break, it cracked, because of all the basalt rod, it wouldn't break. It took me forever to get the thing to break with fiberglass. So it's that shock value that will break it. But normally, I mean, if we put this supported, you put this supported on the side, you could stand in the middle of it. As long as you didn't do that, you could stand on it. So it's pretty strong stuff. And if you did want to trowel, I'd get some of that surface delay to trowel with.
You want it to have something nice and flat. You gotta put
Right.
it on top,
Yeah,
table or whatever.
and that's the nice thing about the foam rails. I mean, if you stay to this foam rail, it's flat all the way across it.
Correct.
And if it was a bigger piece, you go ahead and screed it off and make sure that it's flat.
it takes to dry, 100%.
It's like concrete is a 28-day cycle, okay? For
Okay,
cure
full
time.
cure.
You can start working on this tomorrow. So we'll pull this the first thing tomorrow morning. So if it's 70 degrees outside and your shop is 70 degrees, you can pour it in the morning and demold it in the afternoon. It's ready to go. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that we can actually, do different things to it. I mean, I could build up corners just simply by coming in. So say this front edge is my 2-inch profile or my 1.5-inch profile. I can take this edge over here.
That's a flat profile.
Okay. So now what I could do is I could take this whole edge actually and make this whole edge just a profile. Now you're going to see where that line is there because, so I would use that as, something, 1.5-inch rail or something. But I can actually build this up. So say you were doing a piece of furniture or something, you wanted to embed a bolt, just embed it in something like that.
Would you finish this with that backer mix?
No, this doesn't need to. This is a standalone.
When do
This
you use
just
the
this
backer
product. Using the backer mix usually when you're doing sinks, because you got to come up and over top of the sink. You're using the backer mix when you want to have. You're using the face mix, which is the sprayable one, where you're spraying things. You're using the backer over that. But if you just want to pour and go, this is the material to do that.
So even if you wanted to make you don't want to pour 2 inches, but you want to make that 2-inch rail, you would just put, just like what you did there.
Just like what I
There's
did
no
there.
backer mix required.
No backer mix required.
To hold it up.
Yep. Yep. I could make this whole thing 2-inch rail around the outside and put a 3/4-inch foam plug in the middle. Now I got everything around the outside edge is wide, but the center is thin. So I'm saving a lot.
Nice.
Saving a lot of material, saving a lot of time, saving a lot of effort for me to get it out to the job. Too much stuff there. So now that would be supported on each side of the countertop. So if this was a piece, say this was a vanity piece or something, my front edge, this is a wall, my front edge is 1.5 inches. This is 1.5 inches, that's going to support on the countertop. So there's a whole bunch of different techniques that you can do with the precast alone, without even to get into the backer mix, without even having to get into the face mix, just using precast. That's it, one. Thank you. Personally, I don't like grinding. Grinding's a mess. Polishing's a mess. And there's stuff flying everywhere. I don't like it. So I would rather personally just take it to a 400 stop, put sealer on it, and go from there.
There's a lot of crazy people there.
I know there is. I know there is. Yeah. But usually a lot of people, when they see, and again, you go back to the architect. Architect says, I want it polished. So you're not going to sell them on a sealer that's not going to be, it's going to look like it's polished. But a lot of people, if you have a sample that shows them, well, this is what it looks like. Because the PC12 is a very high gloss. It's color enhancing. It gives it that
Color
bling.
enhancer?
Pardon?
Color enhancer?
Yeah. Yep. Yes. So it gives it that bling that people are looking for. Usually when people want polished concrete, it's because they want that.
Like a wet color.
They want that wet look. Yep.
Yeah, wet look, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes, are you training or are you going to hunt deer?
But now all I need to do to demold this is I'll just take these pieces and just peel them off and just demold it right onto the top. Then I'm ready to start doing my sealing stuff to it. That's all I need to do. So foam rails can really help you.